So Arknights' story is a great story, but it's longer than a Russian novel. And the 6.5 anniversary event? Yeah, that's literally peak fiction. Also, it's confusing as hell because it involves dream magic, a family of 12, and gods who cheat at board games. So let's fix that. Now we fast forward to the present. Sui is about to fully awaken and there's chaos everywhere. So currently, Wang is inside the tomb fighting Sui in a dream battle that's been lasting for like 2 weeks by this point. And somehow, Sui is literally breathing ghost armies into reality and killing Yan soldiers. They don't really explain how this happens, but it just does. And the worst of all, there's actually five other Fahrenmuts that are just waiting on the sidelines for Sui to wake up. One of them, yeah, actually wants revenge on Sui. So yeah, she kinda hates Sui. So now the situation is really bad because if Wang fails, then Yan has to fight six Ferranmuts at the same time, which is really bad. Now, obviously, the Emperor wouldn't just sit still, right? So the True Lung, or the Emperor's plan, is to use Pu Fan again and sacrifice himself to seal Sui. But the Grand Commandant, aka the commander of the Yanese army, had another plan. It's to use Jie's writing knife to rewrite history. Now, don't get me wrong, the Grand Commandant is actually totally on board with using Pu Fan to reseal Sui. It's just that the Grand Commandant doesn't want the current Emperor to die. So, what does he want to do? Well, he wants to use Jie's writing knife, who can rewrite history, to change who the current Emperor is. Basically, we swap out the current Emperor with the current Emperor's older brother. So now, the current Emperor doesn't have to die, but the older brother dies. Now, the older brother that we know here is basically Wei Yinwu, aka Chen's uncle. So obviously, Chen wouldn't let her uncle die, right? Because even if she doesn't really like him, well, it's not fair for Wei Yinwu to die. Now, the problem here is that Wei Yinwu himself actually agrees that, he deserves to die instead of the younger brother because the current emperor is actually a far better emperor than Wei Yinwu will ever be. Now, this is where it gets more interesting because Chen actually holds the writing knife. Now, Chen doesn't want the writing knife to be used, so she's gonna keep it. However, the uncle, Wei Yinwu, actually wants to use the writing knife himself. Now, essentially, Wei Yinwu actually wants to take the writing knife from Chen and then use it to change himself to become the current emperor. However, Chen, well, obviously, he doesn't want him to die, so they had a fight about it. Now, they had this epic duel with Wei Yinwu and Chen under the rain. And obviously, as we all know, Chen wins because, oh my god, did you guys see her S3? It's broken. While this is all happening, Joel and Mo Yi is getting mugged by Ya, the angry Fahrenmut. Now, I didn't really mention Joel and Mo Yi because these two are just side characters. They don't really serve much to the narrative. But back to the topic, basically, Joel and Mo Yi were basically forced to tell Ya where the Originium is. Now, this Originium is used to seal Sui in the first place, and apparently Ya wants something to do with it. I'm assuming it's to destroy it. So anyways, back to Wang and Sui. Basically, they're both still inside the tomb. They're playing their game of Wiki or Go, whatever you want to call it. Now here, there's actually a lot of lore drops that's interesting. Like, for example, Sui admitting that he actually fears Jie. Like, Jie's power was growing day by day, and it doesn't look like it'll stop anytime soon, right? Well, good thing for Sui is that Jie sacrificed herself to save Wang. Now, Wang refuses to let her sacrifice to be in vain, right? So he turns himself into 181 Wiki pieces, basically fragments of himself. Now, what I'm guessing he's trying to do by doing this is to beat Sui on like the really large board. So, he has a lot of pieces, right? Well, despite doing all of this, he still lost. I mean, it wasn't really a surprising outcome since, Wang is just 1/12th of Sui himself. But, after losing, Wang couldn't really take it, so they throw hands, they just started fighting. But unsurprisingly, he lost again. So now there's basically almost no hope. Sui is about to awaken and Wang couldn't beat him, right? And if Wang loses here, he's gonna get reabsorbed into Sui and Sui's gonna become stronger than he is before. But then, the Sui siblings, they can all feel what's happening, right? So they decided to help Wang. Ling and Jun reinforces the dream that Wang and Sui is playing in. Yi and Ji suppresses Sui with their own energy. Like, not sure how this happens. Nian, Dusk, and Shu pile on. Like, I guess they're just helping in the same way. And somehow Chen, using her riding knife, actually stops an army of Yan that's trying to invade Sui's dome because they all thought Wang's gonna lose, right? I mean, it's basically like a day before Sui wakes up and there hasn't been any news or results. Basically, Chen stops them from interfering, and finally, Chong Ye, the eldest brother and an absolute unit, shows up suddenly inside the Sui's tomb and punches Sui so hard that he loses connection to his own body for a few seconds. And you guys can see yourself what happens next. Sui is now dead. He's been replaced by Wang, the new Sui. Well, a fragment of Wang, basically. And the true Lung, which is about to use Pu Fan, came in to meet Sui, right? He's about to see if Wang really succeeded or not. And he realized that Wang won. He basically replaced Sui. And so he doesn't need to do a Pu Fan, and nobody needed to die. Except suddenly, the Fair Mutya barges inside the tomb, ready to fight Sui, because she hates him, right? But she's confused because she can feel that while it looks like Sui, it's not him. And then he realized that, oh, it's actually Wang inside. So now, yeah, is mad because, like, wait, she's about to get revenge, but now she can't because there's no Sui anymore. Wang instead tells her to, okay, just cut up the giant originium used to seal Sui and then place it inside the body of Sui. Now, what this does is basically permanently torture Sui's body and weakening it so that it can never revive or has no hope of coming back. Basically, you can call it the final nail in the coffin. This is like just a failsafe. So yeah, despite not being able to actually fight Sui, she gets to put that final nail in the coffin. So she used up all her entire life force and energy to cut up the originium and put it inside Sui's body. While this might look like a good ending, it's not really an entirely good ending because Wang himself, like part of him, I guess, is still inside Sui's body. So he has to eternally bear the torment of having an originium inside him. But Wang eventually got used to the pain. I mean, I guess it's just a fragment of him. It's not like Wang's gonna die or anything. And aside from that, the country of Yan doesn't have the originium anymore. I mean, they can't use the Bufan, so if there's a Fahrenheit they need to seal, they can't really do that. So at the end, Wang basically left to recover for himself. I mean, he's gonna come back later, right? Since he becomes a playable character, he's gonna come back to Rose Island. But basically, everyone reunites themselves, the Sui siblings, Wei Yinwu and his younger brother. It's overall a good ending. Now, that's pretty much the end of the story. If you were to ask me who the MVP of this arc was, I would say it's either Jie or Wang. I am leaning towards Jie though, because, she saved Wang, the one who defeated Sui, but at the same time, Wang also sacrificed basically eternal torment, I guess. But really, it's up to you, right? This is what I think. And yeah, that's the event. I think this is one of the best events I've played in. I mean, let's just look at the list, right? The banner is like one of the best of all time, and then the soundtrack is really good or epic, and then the story is really interesting. I also think it's really epic also. Now, I probably got some stuff wrong because, I try to simplify the story as much as I can, right? And also, there's a lot of dream bullshit that's going on, like when Sui was fighting Wang. It's pretty confusing, which is why I even made this video in the first place. So if I got something wrong, you can feel free to correct me, I guess. But anyway, that's all I have for you.